And Claire's still here. I mean, he was one of those actors that everyone, whatever you liked him from, there was a definite warmth to him somehow.
There was, and I think it's really interesting when you look at the Harry Potter movies and the success of those. His comments were, well, I just put on a really big beard and went out and was myself. And you just think it's that kind of nature. He didn't think he was doing anything great, but he just came across as the ultimate star that he is. But he wasn't grand with it. He was really quite humble, as Elias just said. But it's also his stage work. And when I was studying Shakespeare for A-level, he was in King Lear, and he brought something out of that I perhaps hadn't seen when I read the text. And I think it's those kind of actors that we don't see enough of. The stage work that he had, the craft that he had, with a piece of text which is quite complicated and quite complex, he made it accessible. And I think that's a real tribute to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's just one of those people that there are certain actors that you kind of think are always going to be there. Yeah. It's people like obviously Michael Gambon, it's people like Sir Ian McKellen, it's people like Michael Caine. You've kind of grown up with them, and they almost feel immortal. And I remember seeing Michael Gambon in doing a King Lear, and he was absolutely tremendous. I mean, you do wonder whether or not that as these older actors are disappearing, whether there are enough young ones coming up to actually fill the gap.
But that's rather lovely about Harry Potter, in that those youngsters, those young actors, were able to work with the likes of Gambon, Richard Harris and all of those other mighty actors. Let's hope they've learned the secret of longevity for a start.
Well, yeah, let's hope so. Maybe the secret of longevity is down to a decent breakfast.
Ah, yes.
Nigel, in the mail, we've got to have a kipper, apparently.
Apparently you have, yes. I'm afraid I don't do kippers.
No, me.
I mean, this morning it was only a banana because we were rushing to get in here, but normally I'd have a banana and some cereal, which I gather is very bad for me.
Depends what sort of cereal it is. Normally have.
It varies. It can be some muesli, it can be fruit and fibre, it can be Rice Krispies. I mean, I'm pretty fickle about cereals. It's all over the place.
They're meant to be sort of junk food nowadays.
But at least, and the idea that the full English breakfast is maybe not quite so bad for you is really good news. I'm off to the Tory Party conference in Manchester for GBNEWS. I shall have a full English breakfast every morning and come back a few pounds heavier for Claire next week.
Yeah. That's something to look forward to, Claire.
I was going to say, what a welcome back that will be. I mean, kippers. I don't know anybody that eats kippers at home because cooking them, the smell of them is going to be quite horrendous.
Exactly.
It changes, doesn't it? Whatever food fad you have, whatever breakfast, you were always told that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, so it didn't matter if you had cereal, toast, or full English or whatever. And now we're being told, shouldn't have cereal, it's really bad for you. I don't eat breakfast, just for clarity. I can't abide food in the morning. I drink an awful lot of coffee to make up for it. But
I'm not sure that does make up for it. But
in my world, it does. In my world, it does. It's the only thing I can probably deal with.
Ah, yes, well, coffee's not necessarily bad, actually.
And here we go again. It's all the rules that keep changing, that too much caffeine is bad for you, now caffeine is good for you.
Here you go. This is in the Star. Drinking coffee could help prevent memory problems as we get older.
Drinking coffee will?
Yeah, this is according to boffins at a Japanese university.
And what particular newspaper is that in?
It's in the Star.
Fine.
Well, so I'll be able to remember everything. I just won't be able to move around very well when I'm old. So, I mean, look, I think that people should be able to have whatever they like in moderation. And if you want some cereal, have some cereal. I don't like to be told that something is very bad for me and then I must not have it, because that just makes me want it even more.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're all like that, a bit contrary.
Yes, yeah, well, we are, aren't we? I mean, I'd have to say, the idea that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, that was always the thing, but I suppose that...
That's
if you're going to school or something...
It does set you up for the day, though, doesn't it? I mean, Claire doesn't eat breakfast, and I sort of keep nagging her that she ought to have something, but...
I don't eat breakfast normally, but then I haven't got the time.
No.
Yeah.
But don't you think that saying comes from the days when people were going out to do a physical job? Yeah. You were going down the mines or something, then you really did need a good breakfast to get you on your way.
But at least if you're not hungry, I mean, you know, especially for school children, but at least if you're not hungry, you can actually take on the day.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it does. Now, Michelle, hi, Michelle, says, I can't face breakfast at 6 a.m, just a cup of tea. On weekends, I could have something around 11, but during the week, I just wait till dinner time at 12.
Ian,
dinner time. Do you call it dinner time or lunch, or what do you do?
No, it's lunch and tea.
Lunch
for
and
me.
tea?
Yeah.
Well, you do what she says.
I do lunch and supper.
Right. You see, I go lunch and dinner and tea.
Ian in Hatfield says, I love a kipper for breakfast with fresh, crusty bread and butter. Do I cook them at home? No way. Exactly.
Oh, so you go out for it. I see. Good point. Right, we'll see you two a little bit later on. Let's get a check on the weather for you now with Alex.